what's up? Welcome back to my channel. How are you? Today I'm really excited because I'm going to be doing another video in what I want to kind of include in my skin series. I just did yoga skin and I thought a great thing to kind of, you know, domino off of that, just kind of like add on to the series would be cream bronzer, sharing with you guys all my favorite cream bronzers, 2 different types of application techniques, and just really kind of trying to help you guys with cream bronzer because it has quickly become one of my absolute favorite makeup products. And when I first started using cream bronzer, I kind of hated it. I just didn't know how to apply it. I didn't know how to use it properly, and I just wanted to share everything that I know with you guys and just kind of help you as much as I can because I think you guys will really love cream bronzer as much as me. It just makes your skin look so natural and it really just transforms your skin, warms up the complexion, and all while looking really natural and mimicking your skin's own texture. So it's like undetectable, and it's really been a game changer for me. So I think I can get you guys to fall as in love with cream bronzer as myself. Before we get into it, guys, please make sure that you subscribe just so you can stay updated whenever I upload a new video for you. And then I would also love it if you guys would come follow me on Instagram too. I'm always on Instagram whenever I'm not here on my channel, so that's where you'll find me. And we'll get into the application and demo and all that stuff now. I just cleansed and moisturized my skin. To moisturize, I used the Creme de la Mer. I really like this one pre-makeup application because it just makes my skin super glowy and I can really push it into all the dry patches. For foundation, I'm going to be using the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. In this, I wear the shade 7.5. I just pump it on the back of my hand, dot it on the skin, everywhere I want a little bit of coverage. And then I'm gonna blend this in with my beauty blender. To conceal the face, I'm using the RMS on Cover Up. In this one, I wear the shade 33 and just dot it wherever I want some extra coverage. And I'll also conceal anywhere else that I have some hyperpigmentation or just like post-acne marks. I'll just kind of like push it into those hyperpigmentation spots. So now I'm just gonna give the makeup a couple moments to really set on my skin and just kind of chill and let it do its thing, really set into place. And I'm gonna just fill in my brows while I wait for that to happen. So I'm just using the Anastasia Brow Wiz. So the reason that I like to really let my foundation and concealer kind of settle onto the skin, if you will, is because I find that if I go in, you know, straight after doing foundation and concealer, it's still fresh and slightly tacky. Well, then the bronzer can actually kind of wipe away some of the base product. So I always like to fill in my brows, put on some lip balm, like let the makeup have a chance to really settle onto the skin and just become a little bit more solidified. A little bit more solidified, and then you have less chance of the makeup kind of transferring and looking patchy. So with cream bronzer, there's not really like a right or wrong way to apply it. You can use whatever brush you like, you can use your fingers, you can use a sponge. You really do want to play around with the cream products and kind of figure out what works best for you. So I want to share with you guys 2 different techniques which are my personal favorite. So I'm going to do 1/2 with a brush and then 1/2 with a sponge. Now my favorite beauty sponge of choice is definitely the Beauty Blender, and my favorite brush personally for applying cream bronzers is the Real Techniques buffing brush. I just think that this gives me the most control, and I like how it's really great at blending out cream products and can kind of give you the most airbrushed effect. For the tutorial today, I'm going to use the Sonia Kashuk cream bronzer. This one is in the shade Warm Tan, and we'll do this side of the face with the brush. So you always just want to pick the product up, just kind of tap it, make sure all the bristles get covered. I always tap the excess off on the back of my hand because I don't want this to be too heavy. I want to go in layer by layer. So I always like to start right about here, and I'll just kind of stipple the bronzer on this back part of the cheekbone, and then I'll start blending it upward. And when I'm applying the cream bronzer, I'm not really doing like a swiping motion, because if you swipe too much, you will move your makeup around. So you're doing like a more soft stippling motion. Like you guys can see, I'm really kind of just bouncing the brush around and really just kind of placing the product as close to the perimeter of my face as I can, so that I don't have too much going into the center. And then when you start blending it inward, you're doing even a lighter stippling motion but you want to stipple the product on more than like a full-on like swipe. I always like to take a little bit on the ear just so that everything is nice and matching. And then I always take a little bit of bronzer along the jawline. And this you can do more of a swipe motion because it is right there on the jaw, so it's not as big of a deal. So by now your brush will be pretty clean. You won't have as much product on the brush. It'll mostly be on the skin. So once you've placed, then you can really go in with the brush and start blending everything in. And I just still do this stippling motion because I really want to make sure that I'm not disrupting the foundation and concealer underneath. And I'll always kind of put a little bit right in the socket of the eye just to kind of bring everything together, make everything nice and harmonious. I'll lightly just take it down the side of the nose because I always want to add a little bit more definition right there. And I also think it's really important to kind of pull it onto the apple of the cheek, you know, bring the bronze into the center of the face just so that everything doesn't look so stripy. But you want the strongest concentration of the cream bronzer to be along the perimeter of the face and the contour. And then once your brush is clean, you can use it to really pull it into the center of the face and just overall warm up the complexion. Now we'll do this side with the sponge. And I like to use just the Beauty Blender, and I really like to kind of hold it like this and get this part of the sponge. That's what I like to use for more of the actual application, and then using the fatter end to blend. Same thing, we're just gonna pinch the sponge, pick up the product directly, tap off the excess. Just wanna make sure you're not going in too hot and heavy. And then when you pinch the sponge to pick up the product, you'll get like a pretty nice line. And you still wanna do the same thing, like start back here and just kind of stipple the bronzer on. And then you're gonna go up along the hairline. Stay really close to the hairline to get that nice contour. And then we're just gonna lightly take it along the jawline. And then we're gonna use the fat end of the Beauty Blender to really buff it into the skin and really bounce the product around. Now when you're blending, you don't wanna be moving it around so much as you do want to just kind of stipple on top of the product that you laid down, because that's how you're gonna get the blend with the sponge. You wanna lay the product down and then blend it out with the sponge. I'm just taking a little bit of product at a time from the little section that has the bronzer on it, and then I just use this end of the sponge to really blend it in place. You can still, you know, knock it in the crease of the eye. We're gonna take it in and place some along the apple and just really warm up the skin tone. So now you guys can see the two application techniques side by side. This is the sponge side and this is the brush side. The finish is pretty much identical. It's just really gonna be choosing what you have a preference over application wise. You wanna make sure that you go in with the heaviest amount of product towards the perimeter of the face, and you wanna blend that as much as you can, and then once the sponge or the brush has released most of the product from the bristles, that's when you can really start pulling the cream bronzer in towards the center of the face. Now you're gonna wanna set this. I would say something translucent is pretty mandatory just because you don't wanna use anything that has a type of tone or shade to it, because that could kind of disrupt the bronzer. So I would definitely recommend also using something that is loose, not something pressed. So I'm gonna be using the Marc Jacobs Invisible Finish Line powder. And what I like to do is just kind of go directly into the powder. I'm gonna be left with that. I'll kind of roll it around on the back of my hand just to kind of shake off the excess and really push the powder into the sponge itself. And then you're just gonna lightly powder the entire face. And this will keep the cream bronzer in place. It'll really help make sure that nothing, you know, moves around or migrates throughout the day, and it'll just keep the bronzer lasting longer. So something else I really wanted to mention to you guys is that once you go in with your powder, so once you've powdered foundation, concealer, bronzer, all that stuff, you have to go in with powders from then out. So blush, highlight, anything else you use for the complexion needs to be a powder. because once you've set everything with powder, you can't go in with cream after that. Otherwise, things can start looking patchy and you can start removing makeup. It just gets really messy. So now we can discuss my favorite cream bronzers. So these are all a little bit different in formulation, although the application technique will always be the same. I still always use a brush or a sponge despite the different formulations. So the one we used today was the Sonia Kashuk cream bronzer, and this one is in the shade Warm Tan. Now this one has quite a moussey, almost like dry, powdery texture. It is creamy, but if you play around with it and kind of feel it in your fingertips, you'll know what I mean. It is quite like dry once it sets. It kind of sets down to more of a powder finish. Now the Chanel Teint de Soleil, which is another one of my all-time favorites, is quite similar to the Sonia Kashuk one in formulation. This one is again a really warm undertoned terracotta bronze. It goes on really creamy and looks quite shiny, but then once you actually start blending it into the skin, you see that it has more of a matte finish. So the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow is a really great one. It also comes with a cream highlight. Now this one is more of a true cream contour. It is quite cool toned, you guys can see, and it does set on the skin as a matte. I think that's what you'll notice about these cream bronzers is a lot of them are kind of creamy and moussey, and then those ones tend to set down to more of the true matte finish. Now the Charlotte Tilbury one is much more cool toned than a lot of other bronzers, so I would recommend this one more so for contouring, but if you apply it correctly and really blend it out nicely, it does also translate onto the skin as a really nice bronze as well. Another one of my new favorites that I am absolutely obsessing over lately is the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate. This is another one that comes with a cream highlight that I love as well, but we're just gonna be talking about the bronzer. This formulation is so unique. It is quite gel-like. It's very rich and creamy and emollient and just really melts onto the skin like butter. This one's more of a true milk chocolate. Another cream bronzer that I really love is from Trustique. Now this one is actually a giant pencil thing, but I actually still always pick this up on a brush or a sponge. I don't really like the whole striping method. I just feel like when I apply it directly to the skin, it doesn't blend out as easy. This is in the shade Brazilian Bronze, which is a really nice like coconutty brown, and this is a true matte bronze. This one is also really easy to control because it's more of like a firm kind of gel, and it blends out really nice. Wander Beauty also makes some of my favorite cream bronzers. They come in a stick and one end is also highlight as well. That's kind of a theme you'll notice with cream bronzers. A lot of them do tend to come with a cream highlight. So my two favorite shades are Capri and Malibu. Now the unique thing about the Wander Beauty cream highlights is they are quite balmy and they're super, super dewy. So here is Capri, which is more of like a mid-tone nutty brown, and then Malibu, which is a little bit darker and more cool toned. Now, I also think that the Wander Beauty On The Glow bronzers look the best. Out of all these products, they are the ones that look the best on bare skin. So if you're somebody who doesn't wear foundation or doesn't wear tinted moisturizer, this looks absolutely gorgeous on bare skin. It looks absolutely gorgeous on foundation as well, but I'm just saying, out of these bronzers, I think this is the best formulated to be suited for those of you guys who don't wear any type of base product. I think you will absolutely love these. I absolutely love them on foundation as well too. They look just as good on foundation as they do without foundation, but I'm just saying that they're formulated the best out of all of them to look the best on bare skin. Do you know what I mean? So another really great cream bronzer that I have to suggest to you guys are the CoverGirl True Blend palettes. Now these are brand new because I've used these on my channel so many times for years, but they start getting really gunky and start collecting dust. So I bought brand new ones for this video to share with you guys. So I like the medium and the light palette. The one on the bottom is the light palette and the one up top is the medium palette. I tend to lean a little bit more favored to the medium palette. I just think the tones are so much warmer and more complementary to my skin tone. Now I will say the one thing about the CoverGirl cream bronzers is they absolutely have to be set with powder. They don't set to the skin at all. They stay quite gel-like and kind of slightly sticky, which isn't a bad thing. It's just that if you do opt for the CoverGirl cream bronzers, you're gonna wanna make sure that you set these with some type of powder. Now, the last product that I really wanted to mention to you guys, because I know that cream bronzer is not for everyone, but I just love the effect of cream bronzer. I think you can really make it look like your own skin and it just blends in so beautifully. But if cream bronzer is absolutely not for you, I've mentioned this to you guys quite a few times now. It's the Too Faced Peaches and Cream Bronzer. This is a melting bronzer. This does not have to be set with powder. It's really easy to manipulate. It blends out like a dream. This one is truly amazing because it applies and feels like a powder, but looks like a cream. It just melts with your skin, but still has that nice powder finish to the touch. So if cream bronzer is not for you, but you still want the effect, I highly recommend this one. But that is everything I wanted to mention to you guys for today's video regarding cream bronzers. I really hope you found the tutorial helpful and the swatches of all the products so that you guys can see them on my skin tone, and then you guys can kind of see all the different tones that cream bronzers have. Some are super warm and some are more of like a true just like nutty brown that don't have a lot of warm tones to them. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I wanted to do this as another extension of like the skin series that I want to do, where I show you guys different techniques and different products, and I just think cream bronzers really give you the most beautiful skin-like finish, and I just wanted to share with you guys the best application techniques that I have and my favorite ways to apply them. So if you have any questions regarding any of these cream bronzers, please hit me up in the comments down below. I always do my best to get back to every single one of you guys. If you need help kind of choosing the right shade for your skin tone, I'll help you as much as I can. Please be sure to leave a comment and just say hi, because I really love talking to you guys. And leave a comment down below. Let me know some other types of skin related videos that you want me to do, because I just did yoga skin. Now I'm gonna do this cream bronzer one, and I just wanna expand on more skin type of videos, techniques, products, things like that. So let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback. Other than that, guys, please subscribe if you haven't earlier, and come follow me on Instagram. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one.